plethora of boomerangs.
Oh, wow. Almost have a squadron.
Yeah.
Well, we do actually, but somebody's a little short on
We're a bit of doubling up.
airframe stuff.
Yeah. Actually, every time I come in, there's more. They keep multiplying.
They do? Yeah. Well, there's nothing to do in here, so what do you expect? Okay, so this obviously must be the one that we're going to fly.
That's correct. So this was the spare fuselage frame that came with your parts that had nothing on it.
Right, that was the best tubing, but there was still some stuff that was replaced. So like where was...
Yeah, you'll see that there's scarf joints through some of it where the cluster has been retained.
Oh, I see, okay.
But they've
Okay,
replaced the
little
tube.
couple of rosette welds there.
That's right. So you've got an internal tube inside here as well that runs through this whole joint from about there to there.
Add more weight. Fortunately, I'm slim and trim. So are these actual functional, or are they for linseed oil?
Both. You can put linseed oil back in there, but a lot of brackets and fittings go on here.
Right, okay.
And even though you can do up the bolts, just to make sure it doesn't rotate in position, the PK screw will go through and just retain
Okay.
it. And that's the way they were designed.
Okay, so
Here's that other
Yeah.
panel I was talking about that's been
Right.
now overhauled. And it's just temporarily fitted there. The bolts aren't done fully yet, but it's
firewall,
also-
got some little places for your feet to go, or the rudder pedals.
Yeah, it's one of the designed features of the Boomerang where they just needed more room for the rudder to go forward.
Right.
Because there's not much room between it and the engine.
Armor plate for the pilot.
Yeah, original head armour plate and main armour plate out of number 174.
Oh, yeah,
from the
yeah. Oh, that's the original one.
Yes, even all these stand-up brackets and bits and pieces that are holding it in place, they've all been removed, bead blasted, tape plated, painted, put back on.
This is the monocoque. See, this is all steel tube up here, but then actually on the bottom, it's a monocoque structure that actually bolts up there, so there's no actual tubes in here. Now, why do you think they did that? And that's probably where the camera goes out?
Yes, it is, yep.
Okay.
I think that was a design from the early North American days, just to probably a bit of stone deflection
Okay.
as well.
Oxygen bottle?
Oxygen bottle holder, yeah.
Yeah, stone deflection. That would make sense because this is monocoque. Oh yeah, there we go. So it's not fabric, but
That's right, yeah.
Yeah,
This is
there's
the
that.
original tail wheel assembly from New Guinea. From
okay. So that was that tail wheel casting we were talking about. So it bolts up here, hinges, got the deal, and
the original fork.
tail wheel.
So I'll put another tail wheel on there so that it can be rolled on the ground.
Right.
And everything, all the original bearings in here are all lubricated again after 30 years in the jungle. So it's obviously not going to fly again, but it's serving a purpose to be able to move the airplane.
So bolting the vertical fin on.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably horizontals here.
Yes, horizontals there.
And what is this for?
That's the spar for the fin also.
Oh, I see. So it bolts on in 3 places.
That's correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the Boomerang has 3 places. Wirraway was only 2. The Boomerang didn't have this. Sorry, the Wirraway
Didn't have that,
Didn't have
okay.
that one. It's called a funk connection, I believe.
Really?
So you have quite large holes here, and it was a smaller bolt that went through there into a casting bolted to the underside of the fin. The idea being if this tri-section got shot out here, then you're going to lose your fin because it doesn't have any connection. This would at least, hopefully, keep the fin in position with the bolts lower down and that too.
Of course, you got twice as much horsepower and
Yeah,
airstream, and it's a faster airplane, and
that's right. So this is the display fuselage that you've got from Robert Grynett.
that
and-
Cusack had done.
Yeah, Ralph Cusack had it rebuilt. This also went through Hurricane Andrew.
Okay, and back when was this been done?
About 85.
About 85.
1980 to 85. Yeah. So it was just a static restoration. When
Yeah.
you get into the detail.
And I bought this all after I bought this stuff from Darby, the original deal. So this is all coming back to me. And Charles, of course, was living in New Zealand at the time.
Yeah.
And he was one of the very early guys that was up in New Guinea digging through the bush and, you know.
That's right. The stuff that was around in those days was pretty remarkable, actually. So this was fairly complete in the way it was all put back together. You know, all the original gear. The good thing though is that with 174, a lot of the original gear out of it is actually coming up well, because it was upside down in the jungle with the wing centre section in place.
Right.
So all the torrential rain that it would be getting pretty much every afternoon for years
was protected.
was protected. Yeah.
I'll be darned. And then this is the main fuel tank in the fuselage.
That's right, which held 70 gallons.
And there's 2 in the wing.
Then 2 in the wing as well, which,
Right.
which you saw earlier. So the wing tanks hold 45 gallons each, and this is 70 gallons. And then that belly tank that it's designed for with the hook in the centre section, there was another 70 gallons. If
Oh, great.
Yeah, so even with the fuselage fuel tank, you've got a transmitter here which gave fuel quantity indications through to a gauge on the sub box over there.
Right.
So this original unit, they used to play it in service during the war anyway. It's a little magnet in there that was controlled by a float that would move up and down. But these days we can put a capacitance probe down into the tank, which gives a different reading depending on where the fuel is sitting on that probe.
Okay.
And we can feed that through to a gauge that'll look identical on the faceplate to the CAC gauge, but it'll be a modern gauge.
Right, good. So just more reliable. So there's your filler. Okay, now the wing tanks had self-sealing protection over them. Did this one?
It does. This little lip you can see on here, which is covered with fabric and it's flexible.
Yeah.
That's 2 pieces of rubber coming up. So you've got the rubber that's connected on the underside of this top and the rubber bladder inside.
I see.
So you've got a complete tank that's held with rubber. All these little funny tags that are sticking here, they're actually on the inside bonded to the sides of the rubber bladder
to keep it from floating in the tank?
So it holds the tank out against the sides.
I see.
And that's why it's all corrugated, because the outside of the tank is giving the strength to stop the
Yes,
waves.
exactly. That's interesting. So when you rebuild this is obviously coming apart, then what do you do with the...
We build an aluminium tank that's baffled inside. So
I see.
another layer of aluminium skin with baffle plates to support it, as a normal fuel tank would be done.
Okay.
That way it will never have a
Right.
leak through
So
deterioration
when this
of
gets
rubber.
through, you're not going to have this stuff there.
Only bolted through for looks. You'll still have that lip on there.
Oh, that's bolted.
Yes,
I thought that was riveted.
No,
Yeah,
they're-
see, there's like nuts on there, and there's actually a
British 4BA
a
bolts.
hex head on there. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. So that allowed them,
Unbelievable.
if they needed to during the war, to
Right.
undo the top to get in and repair it.
Oh, that's interesting. Did anything go up top here, like batteries or
This was your radio shelf.
the radio shelf? Okay.
Which is on top of that box over there.
Okay.
But essentially you had a generator mounted up here, then the transceiver behind it, and then an IFF.
Here's your little
The hydraulic shelf. with
Yep.
all the various
trim, fuel selector.
That's
forth,
for the oil cooler door.
Yeah,
down
okay.
here. So
Okay.
there's a rod from there to there.
Right, where the 2 coolers are up forward.
That's right.
Oh, so we got landing gear flap selector.
So that's those indicators.
Yeah.
So as your gear goes up and down, these are
Right,
spring
okay.
mounted on cables, and so that'll tell you whether your gear is up or down.
Okay, great. Hydraulic tank?
Glycol tank for
Like
windscreen.
for windscreen. Yeah, that's not big enough for hydraulic.
Yeah, the hydraulic tank is mounted in behind the seat. A bit hard to see with all the other tubing in place.
Yeah, I can
It's
see it there.
0.8 of a gallon.
Yeah, huh.
And just one seat that was done up at some stage, and it's had some paint stripping by the look of it.
Electrical stuff over there. And these are,
Yeah, the side boxes, so you've got your ignition switch here
okay. huh.
and other controls.
And that's your warning horn right there in
Yes.
case the gear doesn't come down. So if the gear is like not where it's supposed to, and the micro switches are not connected, and if you bring the throttle back to a certain point, there's a little micro switch there, and if you go past that and these aren't closed, it sets the horn off and says, hey, your gear's not down.
Yep. In fact, just wander down this way, can it? Because on the firewall for 174, we've positioned the little box from that micro switch for the throttle. So a lever comes through here from the throttle,
Okay.
and it will depress that, and you can hear the switch go
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
So if that gets activated and the gear's not in the right place, you'll get the horn going off.
Yeah. Huh. See, this is an instance where you want to be depressed.
Yes. That's right. All these original fittings here
Right.
have come off 174's firewall. that's right beside us.
Yeah, and this is, you know, where the rudder, and we took some liberties with originality for safety. So here's an original panel, which was like an anodized aluminum.
Yep.
Okay, so this is the one that came off of my wreck.
That's right.
So this was the New Guinea airplane,
Yep.
and obviously, you know, the tubing is all pretty far gone, and you know, so this was what was in the bush. And
yeah, for 30 years up in New Guinea.
so anyway, so we made the command decision from a safety point of view to not use aluminum, which would melt very quickly, and decided to go ahead and just put in
Stainless
steel for a safety point of view. So the 1830 here, this is a twin row Pratt Whitney. It's 1,200 horsepower.
Yep.
It's got a gearbox up front here. It swings a big 3-bladed prop. And it's the same basic engine that's on like a PVY, a Short Sunderland,
Liberator.
some of the DC-3s, Liberator,
Yep.
some of the Wildcats.
Yes, yeah. Some of the early fighters. This engine is just a static exhibit that'll
Right.
actually go into my static fuselage display.
Okay.
So it's
And okay, now on the Boomerang, because they were building Lockheed Hudsons at the
correct.
time, okay? So they were like scrounging around finding different parts that they could use from different things that they were already used to.
Yes.
And so I didn't have a Boomerang cowl, but I found some
Hudson ones
Hudson ones
that fit the 1830.
that fit the 1830, and then,
They were completely circular. So,
Right.
So this section you see here was as it was all the way around.
and it was exactly the same as a Boomerang, but the Boomerang, the Hudson didn't have these.
No, the Hudson didn't have this carburetor into
Right.
it. And the Boomerang also has this elongated lower part. So you can see that should be here. If it was completely circular, but
Right.
it's actually lower. So from here to here, that's an entirely new piece that the Boomerang needed.
Ah, okay, so what I had acquired, and I think I had a couple of them.
Two, yes,
Okay.
yep.
And then, so we basically, from that, with Grant doing some wheeling and some parts, this was made into a Boomerang.
That's right.
Cowling.
The important part from this that's difficult to reproduce is the extruded T section on the back of it. So where the next cowl attaches, this is not just the T section.
Oh, I see, okay.
It's got an angle to it. So that piece is identical to what the Boomerang had, but very hard to make if you don't have one, which is
I
why the
see.
Hudson cowls came in so handy.
Okay, of course, there's the shock absorbers for the cowl and hooking to the engine, you know, so the engine's shaking while it's running, and
That's right.
it's just holding the cowling together. And then, of
Yes.
course, this all uses Zeus panels here and various, there's probably a top section,
That's correct. It's
a
down
couple
to
of
here.
side
Got
sections.
two close together by the two panels.
Right, yeah, okay,
And again here.
right. Oh, I see what you're talking about. So you see how this is round here, and all of a sudden it gets down here, and then it goes down,
That's right.
and you can see where it was round inside. So this was the Hudson deal, but the Boomerang had this because that's for the
Oil
carburetor,
cooler
the oil cooler induction. So those two oil coolers come in here,
That's right. It's a big duct that runs
right?
across there for a start.
And if you remember, one went this way, and then it had a kink into it and went up. So
it's got to go up through another ducted box through that rectangular hole down there.
oh, I see. Okay. See what I'm looking at, but basically down in there, so the oil cooler air goes in there, and then what's it go out the belly?
Now it goes out the side of the fuselage.
Oh, it goes out the side. Okay,
Through that other green ducting we looked at.
good.
So there was a lot of work in rebuilding this because they're the original Hudson pieces from there to there on both sides, but
Right.
they used to be on the centre line of the engine, if you like. They were even with even gaps, tops and bottom. So they had to be deriveted from that big ring at the back and moved upwards, re-riveted, whilst all this duct was made from new as
Oh
well.
my gosh.
And you can see that's even got a bit of a recess in there.
Oh my God, yeah.
And that's
Huh.
it's an inner piece, and this is an outer piece.
I'll
But
be
even this
darned.
outer piece is a double skin.
Huh. But the T ring, which is difficult, is used
Yes,
all the way
completely.
around.
Yes.
I see. So it's just kind of this, what's bolted to it from a shape point of view is how the Boomerang.
That's right. The difference
Changed.
is told. Yeah. So yeah, we did 2 conversions for you back in around 1997. So one's here and the other one's on the bench over there.
Right, and refresh my memory, we kept this, or we were doing something with Judy, or?
Yes, there's a deal that's now been done with Judy.
Right.
You'll keep this one.
Yeah.
The one on the bench will go to Judy.
So we're helping her project out,
Yes.
and then in return,
You're getting some benefit of the value of this.
Right.
That can go towards other parts for
right,
the restoration of the
okay,
airplane.
great, good, okay. So, and then this shell here is basically, you have like a static that you're also building.
That's right.
And this is just meant to be a cutaway. Matt's building up a static to show, with some of the non-airworthy boomerang parts, to come up with a great display. So
That's right. So what you're basically seeing in your fuselage up here is what you'll be able to see through all these spaces. So you'll see all those
Right.
systems. And
yeah, okay, cool.
otherwise, when the boomerang's finished, it's just an outer skin. No one has any idea what's going on
Right.
inside. But if you can seal this stuff, people go, wow,
Yeah.
what's all that doing
that's
in there?
good. Yeah, so there's a piece that goes on the back here, and you can access this for the
From the other
radio
side, it hinges
stuff.
up.
Oh, so is this actually,
This is a fixed side.
is this glass here?
Yes,
Okay, so the guy can look back and,
Yes, there were internal panels that sort of sat in here. It's a bit of a early, sort of 1930s fighter design,
Yeah.
like some of the early Hawk, Curtiss Hawks. So with a panel here, the pilot's supposed to be able to look over his shoulder.
like a P-40.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing. Yeah. Same thing in a
Yeah.
P-40. All right. So this thing has been through the mill.
Yes, the original seat out of 174 though.
Yeah.
It was held in place by the armor plate above it coming down during the overturn accident and stopping the pins from being removed from the seat.
Right. So nobody could steal the seat.
That's right. Yeah. And I believe the locals did try and take it in the mid-70s.
Yeah. You can see where this is kinked a little bit, and somehow when the armor plate was up here, it came down and it bent something down here, and the pins for the seat release got jammed, so nobody could steal the frickin' release. So
Right, yeah. The pins go through this hole here, and you
Right.
see if I bring that forward, you can see where there's a slot, and the pin
right.
goes through those two.
Okay.
So it's just a quick release. Makes it really easy normally to remove the seat.
So you were the first guy ever to release the seat since the war.
That's right.
Okay.
From May 44 through to 2015.
I'll be darned.
Just
So
sitting-
where is the original seat?
That is the original seat.
Oh, this is the original
Yeah,
seat.
that is the original one.
Oh,
It's
okay.
still got A46 174.
Oh, yeah.
stencil.
So you're going to rebuild this? Obviously, there's a couple little.
Yeah,
or we're
this,
going to.
this whole seat pan is a separate part, and
Right.
it's corroded, so that'll be deriveted and taken
Yeah,
out.
but that's just like flat stuff and
That's
slight
right.
bend
Yeah, there's
to
a
it.
wide edge, but that'll all get sorted.
Yeah, good.
So we'll reuse as much of this seat in the restoration of 174.
So obviously, we didn't get much of the seat belt left. That's interesting. I've never seen that. So that's just the seat.
That's
seat
part of
belt.
the lap belt. But
Right,
It
so-
also had on the back of it, which you can see over here with other seat belt remains. Maybe
Right.
yeah, through there. There's this.
Oh yeah, but that's the
Yeah.
what do you call it?
The,
Yeah,
spring
it's like
load
a-
harness. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like in a car. It's loose until you hit something and
That's
then it
right,
jams
yeah.
and
Yes.
yeah, okay.
And you can see there's remnants of the seat belt on
Yeah,
the back of that.
and these little pulleys up here, that's for raising the seat up. There's
That's
some
right.
bungees
So
that go in
there's
there.
the bungee remnants there.
Right.
And that went up over the pulley wheel. There's still a bit of bungee up there on the
Yeah.
pulley wheel. Back down to this bracket here, which was held to the bottom of the rails, and that was under tension. So you could remove the pins that came through the back of the seat
Right.
here, and with your weight adjust the seat up and down.
Yeah, so then this little thing here, this would,
That's the toggle for releasing the
for the seat to
ratchet.
go up and down.
Yes, yeah.
Right. Or for the shoulder harnesses.
That is just for the shoulder harnesses.
That's for the shoulder harnesses.
Yeah, which
So-
is
so
the
what-
inertia reel is what we're
The inertial reel, that's what it's called. And
Yeah.
so where's the deal? It must be on the other
on that
side.
side. There's a lever on the other side of the
Right,
seat.
and that's where you actually raise the seat up and down to adjust for the height of
That's
the
this guy
pilot.
here.
Yeah, there you go.
A bit frozen in place, but you can see these.
Yeah.
It moves these pins
But
back through here.
that's pretty standard for a World War II
It is the
deal.
design.
But I've never seen this. I've never seen that going up and down on an American airplane.
Right. Okay.
That's interesting. I wonder why they did that. You know, just to kind of get the seatbelt out of the way or something, or?
No, Wirraway's had it as well. It was the
Really?
the lap harness. The
Yeah.
waist harness.
Yeah, but still, the way you tighten it is with the straps.
Should be, but the Sutton harness was a bit of a big animal too, so there wasn't too much
see.
adjustment available in the top part
Okay,
of the buckle.
that's totally new for me.
Right. Have a look at your Wirraway too. You'll probably see those.
Yeah, okay.
too.
All right, we're getting pretty close on that. Just a quick shot down the back here. I'll show you what's in the back there. Of course, there's the
So this is the original
monocoque.
monocoque out of 174.
Okay.
As you can see, it didn't have a cutout in it for the camera because this crashed before the squadron did all the development work on the camera installation.
Okay.
But you've got a camera and you've got all the gear to go
Right.
with it. to
Yeah,
operate.
let's put it
So-
in there. It'll be representative of the period.
Exactly.
Mine was modified later by Matt Denny
With squadron consent.
with Strogan consent. Okay, so now this is my spare fuselage, or your?
It's my display forward frame.
Okay,
And
which
your-
this is going to go on at some point.
Which is timber shell going.
Okay.
The rear frame is the one that was bolted to your display fuselage
Okay, so that's the
and the monocoque.
back end of the Boomerang. Okay, there's the camera hole down there. That's for the oxygen tank back there. That little curved spot there. Or in the case of later days, you can put a small barrel of Naked in Jamaica rum there.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Great little baggage.
So this is my shell here.
Yes, that's right.
This is all finished. That is an amazing piece of woodwork, and like you said, you can't see inside once it's done. So this is obviously for an inspection thing in here. Oh, that's to get to the camera,
Yeah,
probably.
you get to the camera that way and your oxygen bottle.
Okay.
And also that's the first aid door there with an original little first aid box I put inside.
More Naked in Jamaica rum.
Yeah. The small,
That's where,
small bottles.
that's where you put the glasses.
Chilled on the outside.
When the enemy captures you, you tell them that's all I've got.
Yeah.
They don't know about the keg. in
the real
back.
stash.
So this would be for the fuel filler.
That's right, for the fuselage.
And what's that
fuel
for?
tank. That's the aerial lead-in from the tailplane.
Okay.
The
All
early
right.
radios.
And where does the antenna come out? Come out over here somewhere?
Yeah, and through that.
Oh, that was
See
the
hole
round
in the,
part
in the
there.
aluminium cover? Yeah. So on
Yes.
the next one,
Oh, yeah.
through that big one there.
Right. Okay. Let me go take a quick shot of that.
That normally had a Perspex cover panel in there.
Yeah, okay.
Coming through.
So this is where the antenna would come out, not exactly lined up. Oh, this
It's
is
bent.
bent.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
outside.
this is bent right here, but that's where the antenna would be. The antenna would bolt into here,
That's right.
go up out of there.
Yep. You got an identification aerial lead in here for your radio wire back to the tip of the fin.
Okay.
And there's another little light that goes up here too. You can just see it's a bit of an area formed there for a little teardrop light.
Nav light or?
Identification light.
Yeah, okay. And where did this fin come from?
So that's a Wirraway fin, and
Okay.
the painting that it's in there is post World War II colours. So
And
it's post-war
here,
markings.
you can see what he was talking about. You see how it's attached up here? But the Wirraway is not attached back here. And the Boomerang one would have an extra bracket in there.
Yep, which I'll grab from your old piece
Oh,
of
there
your
we go.
fin. That's the bracket that lines up with that.
I see, okay. So that would go in there and wrap around there.
That's right. So these go on the outside face of
Huh.
these with a through bolt, but the bolt is loose.
Right. That piece still looks pretty good. That little casting there. Yeah.
We'll make sure anything that's used.
Oh, it's got
It's
some
a crack.
corrosion. Yeah, it's
magnesium
corroded.
again. You wouldn't use it on a
Yeah,
flying aeroplane.
yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Here we've got remnants of your horizontal stabilizer underneath here too. So,
Okay. Oh my God.
And the elevator
Yeah.
tube.
So what are we doing for elevators and rudders?
Going to have to build them up from scratch.
Okay.
You do have the remnant of a series rudder here,
Okay.
so there might be some pieces out of there that can be reused.
I see.
All these castings will have to be redone.
Huh.
and you've got two, what was called the series, which was a crop duster version of
The
the
Wirraway, right.
So they use Wirraway stabilisers, but it's got a much wider leading edge on it. So these are fatter, if you like.
Yeah.
Than
So how many boomerangs did they make?
250.
How many Wirraways?
755.
Okay, and there's like 12 Wirraways left?
Pretty much.
I own 2.
Yeah.
And they're the only ones outside the United States.
That's right.
And then boomerangs, they made 250, and how many are left?
2 flyers.
2 flyers,
And a few
and
other
how many
projects.
potential projects?
Maybe another 5 or 6.
Okay,
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah, so you've also got an original boomerang fin and rudder remnants there too that came out of New Guinea. And there'll
I'll
be
be
some,
darned.
even this sort of trim mechanism here for the servo tab on the rudder.
Huh.
There's
Possibility to
bits
get some
and
parts out
pieces.
of that.
Yeah,
I'll
the,
be
the
darned.
steel rod inside.
So now, from a hardware point of view, what some of this I've seen is British. Were they using AN hardware as well? What are we doing for hardware?
The only AN was used around the engine because that was an American
Right, okay.
engine. So after the firewall, pretty much all British.
Okay.
And I've been able to secure most of the British stuff
Okay.
that's required for yours.
Right.
But I would prefer for a lot of the main bolted connections of tailplanes and wings and things to be AN bolts.
Okay. Okay. Just because we got, yeah.
You know, they're-
Can't
they're-
trust that Palmy stuff. No, but were they using the Silvercat as well, or not anything? Or
It was Silvercat back in the war.
yeah, okay. Everybody was kind of doing the same thing.
They were.
Interesting. So here, the only thing that's mine is the shell.
And the rear fuselage frame.
Oh, the
So
rear
that was
fuselage,
bolted
right?
to your-
But that's a spare.
that's your spare that
Right,
can sell
okay.
with this other spare here.
Right, okay. Yeah, so at some point, whatever we don't use out of this, we'll replace with what we don't need. We're going to try and use as much of the original stuff as we can. This will supplement it, but whatever else we've got, whatever's spare, is I'm going to have a boomerang project for sale for somebody. So
That's right. And that monocoque down there is yours too. So that's the spare that will stay with this frame. And so that can be all.
oh, the
bolted.
bottom
The
piece.
bottom piece.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so there's a reasonable, but of course with the project, there's really no wing stuff.
No.
Yeah,
no,
okay.
wing center section.
But you're making all that stuff from scratch.
Yeah, yeah. There'll be some brackets and fittings that'll come out of your center section.
Right.
But the majority will.
Right, okay. Well, awesome.